what do you think is your favorite startup so far?
That's a tough one. I don't know if I'm allowed to answer that question.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us on the Elation podcast today. We are here with Ryan Chavez, managing partner of Imprinted Group. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. And yourself?
Good. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, thanks. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Absolutely. Well, we're going to talk about a bunch of crap, but let's just start with your origin story and where you're from and where you grew up, and we'll go from there.
Sure. So originally, I was born in Long Beach, California. And then I moved with my family to Dallas, Texas, which is where I grew up.
Okay.
Ended up in the Gulf Coast. After college, or during college, I chose a school in Mobile, Alabama, Spring Hill College. And that's what took me to this lovely part of the country.
Gotcha. Yeah. Mobile, Long Beach.
Yeah.
Big difference.
That was definitely a culture shock when I first got there, for sure.
Yeah, you're not bringing out any longboards in Mobile.
No, definitely not.
Mobile's got a crazy music scene, though. Most people don't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a great music scene. How did you get involved in music?
Yeah, so during college, it was kind of an accident. I needed to make a little bit of extra money, and I fell into an opportunity that, I was essentially working any job that I could at a music venue.
Imagine that, right?
So
absolutely.
I decided that
that's how it starts, though.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my first kind of entry point into the space. It was an accident. I did everything from bartending to the door to whatever, right? And then ultimately, I ended up having an opportunity to purchase a venue and launch a smaller room in the city, and so I did that.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And what was that one called?
That was called the Alabama Music Box. Yeah, and it's actually still around today.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So you sold it off, or?
Yeah, I got out of it when I moved to New Orleans, but I'm still close friends with those guys, and they're an important part of the culture there in the city.
Awesome. What brought you to New Orleans?
So yeah, while I was working in the music venues there in Mobile, a couple of buddies of mine, they were concert promoters at the time, and they wanted to launch a big music festival, and that was Hangout Fest is what it would ultimately become.
Gotcha.
So I went and I worked the first Hangout Fest with them. They had a lot of success, and they realized that they wanted to start a business creating a lot more music festivals. So they asked me to come on, join the team. I moved to New Orleans shortly thereafter, helped them open up the office and hire our first round of staff.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So what festivals are you involved in right now?
Yeah, so that was a long time ago.
Okay.
That would have been 2010, right?
Gotcha.
So I did the music festival thing for a long time, but today I'm not as much in that business anymore.
No more into that. Okay, all right.
Yeah, we still do some consulting in that space, but it's less of our focus today.
I got you. Well, tell me a little bit about Imprinted.
Yeah, so we are a venture studio, and our focus is to solve complex problems for the music and entertainment industry. So we have several portfolio companies that we've launched. They cover problems in healthcare and finance and automation, but it's all with the domain of music.
I got you. So more of tech side, or?
Yeah, some of it is.
Yeah.
A lot of it's really tech leveraged for sure, but that's not a prerequisite for us to necessarily get involved.
When you say venture studio, just explain that a little bit.
Sure. So it's essentially a company that is created to launch other companies.
Got you. Gotcha.
So it's our thesis that, the music and entertainment space has been largely unsophisticated for a long time. There's a lot of technologies and, ways of doing things that every other industry has adopted as kind of standard practice. And so we're taking a lot of tips and tools from those other industries and doing the best we can to bring them into our workflows.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's why I bought this building and built this place. Was so, I'm born and raised here, and but I moved away for a while, and I spent 9 years in LA. Which is where I cut my teeth in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And you really start to learn what you don't know.
For sure.
But as I was coming back and forth to New Orleans, trying to dip my toe in the industry down here, and I was getting bigger in LA with contacts and people and stuff. So I was like, I was growing in LA, and then I would come home to visit family, and I was like, let me see what the business is like down here. So I just started doing a few things, and I realized that we don't do anything like the industry.
It's a little bit different, pace.
We don't do anything that is structured and is fast paced and you know, whatever it may be, technology driven, whatever it may be, we don't do it, and we act like it's 1950 in a gigging world
Hmm.
instead of, you know, what we're in right now. So I started talking to people in the film industry, and I started talking to some people down here, and I'm like, all the post leaves for, you know, for the films down here. There's no Atmos rooms.
Hmm.
I'm like, well, so we're sitting in the first one in Louisiana as of right now.
Oh, congrats! That's awesome.
Yeah, so
There's some
like,
great engineers here in town. You
yeah,
know,
but well, but there's just no structure,
for sure.
you know, and infrastructure and support and it's you know, it's kind of hard to support a whole business and a whole movement without that type of foundation.
Hmm.
So I was like, you know, and LA was never going to be where I was planting my flag forever.
What part of town were you in?
Oh God, the LA story, you know, I mean, 9 years. So I started in North Hollywood, then I was on Burbank Boulevard, then I was in Silver Lake, and I tested downtown for like 2 months. And then I ended up for the last like 5 years of my time there at 1600 Vine, downtown
Okay.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
And right where Richard Gere picked up the hooker. Uh, and also where, looking at Capitol Records, you could say that too. But
Yeah, I had a place down the street from that for many years.
yeah,
Yeah.
so what I found was Hollywood was the best place to be because everybody would come to you.
Hmm.
You know, you're 20, 30 minutes from everybody. But if I was in Burbank and you're downtown, you're not coming.
No, it's yeah,
You're not
it's a
coming.
trek.
Like, you know, even if it's 4 a.m. and there's no traffic, you're not coming.
Hmm.
You know, so I found in Hollywood people would gravitate to me, and I would be able to network better.
Hmm.
So I stayed there, man. I'm sure you know the building well. I had the apartment with the balcony that was behind the billboard.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, on the very first floor. That was like toward the Hollywood side. So
that's cool, man.
yeah, it was awesome. I enjoyed it. It was the best thing in the world for me was to move to LA and get a taste of the real world,
Hmm.
you know, and realize how things moved.
And what were you doing at that point in time?
So I moved out there to be a producer, like,
Hmm.
you know, like trying to be creative and be a producer. And then you realize, fuck, these people have been producing out here for 20 years before I even started, you
Hmm.
know, like, you know, or longer. And they're still trying to find the positions and this and that. And then you start to kind of get to reality of what you can make money in. And I ended up in live sound.
Hmm.
A guy I went out there with, Derek Olds, was doing some live sound gigs, and we ended up, you know, we were doing the Viper, and we were doing some of the bigger, you know, West Hollywood bars. And then we ended up with the the W Hollywood, their jazz night every Sunday night.
Okay.
We did that for 18 months. We did the live sound, and that's where everything changed.
Hmm.
Because then we did live sound for everybody
Hmm.
because it was their signature night at the W Hollywood. So we, you know, Bieber, John Mayer, Pussycat Dolls, Aerosmith, like, and we just built a catalog up of people we were working with, and we did a good live sound gig. We really killed it.
That's cool. I've had clients that have performed in that space. And,
Okay, so yeah, so upstairs at the
downstairs.
downstairs, and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so that before it was upstairs, it was downstairs,
Hmm.
and then they moved it upstairs to the club area.
Cool.
Downstairs was so much better.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the upstairs spot, but a friend of ours, LPGO, an amazing producer and DJ. She's actually the head of music for North America for the W,
Okay,
and she's done wonders with the programming of their brand and everything. But anyway, she brought us on years ago to go perform there.
that's crazy. That's crazy. Small world,
Mhm.
small world. So that really kind of like allowed me to network and do things properly, and then I turned that into opening a studio on Burbank Boulevard. I was still living in Hollywood, but I opened the studio in Burbank and started doing writing camps. And we did stuff for Beyonce, Chris Brown, and da 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 da. But so I took that model of the writing camp style and said, you know, let me build something in New Orleans that would be similar to where like you can blend the content creation, the music, the whole dynamics of what you have to be as an artist nowadays in one building in New Orleans.
Mhm.
Which there's honestly the the YouTube facility in LA is what really gave me the inspiration for this.
It's the Creator Studio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went there to shoot a music video because you can book the space, And then as I'm there, I'm talking to everybody, and I'm realizing that if you have more than 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, you can book the space for free. They have red cameras, they got lights, they got everything you could possibly need to shoot a full movie.
Hmm.
And it's all for free to rent it out if you have more than 10,000 subscribers. And they have multiple warehouses. They build sets in them, like The Walking Dead had sets in some of them, which you can shoot on the set when they're not set and
That's
shooting,
cool.
like stuff like that. Like, but what I saw in the vision was a community of creators that got to use a space consistently, and that's something that we don't have here in New Orleans.
No, for sure. Yeah.
Like, and so that was really the vision of was trying to create some type of community of creators that we just kept creating and kept moving and but did it all in an industry standard.
Mhm.
So that's really where the vision of this place came in. But tell me about Imprinted. Like, where was that vision? Like, what started that whole movement?
Yeah, good question. Well, I spent 20 years or so, working in the industry and kind of observing all the issues that are out there. And my partners and I, we just we're building products that we are the target market for, so that we're building products that we want to use, right? And so, as an independent manager, as an independent producer, there's challenges out there, and Imprinted was essentially created to go, solve them.
Attack those gray markets.
Yeah.
Right. It's my favorite.
Some of the boring stuff,
No, but the gray market is where you make your money. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Like right now, AI, it's all gray market.
Sure.
There is nobody owns or knows nothing right
Mhm.
now. So right now it's an open wild wild west in what you can do to make money in the AI world.
Mhm.
And in my opinion, those are the moments you have to utilize, because that's when you can make an imprint and stamp something.
No pun
And
intended.
yeah, right. You like that, huh?
Thanks for that plug.
Yeah. So you can, you can pay me for that later. But it truly is that moment that you can grab a hold of something and start a movement or create a wave or whatever it may be that you can ride and end up making money in,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah, and the venture studio model is really about launching things as efficiently and as quickly as possible. And so we're trying to respond, really quickly with solutions, and they might not all work, right? But
Do you use AI at all?
we build digital agents, custom bespoke agents for other industry companies. So one of our portfolio companies is a company called Trainable, and with Trainable, we essentially it's our argument that we understand the workflows that our network, is adopting, whether they're a talent buyer or a producer or an artist manager, and we act as a liaison between them and a lot of technology companies to build custom solutions. So one example is a digital agent that we're working on right now for a historic music venue. It's called Exit in
Okay.
Nashville, and it's a small room. They have a lean operation, and so they have a lot of people wearing a lot of different hats, and and a lot of really dated workflows. So
Yeah.
the example, the use case with this agent is essentially a in-house production manager, if you will.
Right.
So the talent buyer confirms a show, they export that confirmation, send it to the digital agent, and that agent actually starts the advance process. So it's going to scrape whatever info and data it needs from the confirmation. It's going to reach out to the artist contacts and start scheduling the show. Really taking a lot of copying and pasting and emails off of the plate of that GM or the talent buyer, whoever is currently doing the job.
Getting rid of the agent.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah. Right?
Mhm.
That's basically what you're doing, is getting rid of the agent, because his job is null and void if all that stuff's taken care of.
Totally.
Which I'm good. Screw agents. They can get out of the business.
It's a really interesting space. I think that there's so many, so many spaces within the music industry that are just ripe for automation. Everybody's using spreadsheets. Everybody's, using a lot of different platforms. And this technology is available to us now. So
Right.
let's figure out how to
Data
make it
collection.
work for us.
Right?
Yeah,
Data
absolutely.
collection. The more you know about your clients, the more you can sell.
Mhm.
Right? And also the more you can expand to different demographics if you understand what demographics you're truly selling to.
Yeah, and really that's, Imprinted we argue that we know these demographics. They trust us. We're able to sell things to them quickly because they trust us. They know us. They understand that, we intimately know their workflows. So whether it's the company Trainable, which is in kind of the AI and emerging tech space, or we have another company, StageCare, which I'm really excited about. That's in the healthcare space. And then Phase, which is in the fintech space. These are kind of, it's not generative AI. None of these companies are going to end up winning Grammys. It's nothing like that, but
Right.
they're solving very real world problems.
What do you think is your favorite startup so far?
That's a tough one. I don't know if I'm allowed to answer that question.
Oh, okay.
I'm really excited about what we're doing with StageCare, just because the impact that it has the ability to make. There's 2.5 million music industry professionals in the United States, and 1 million of us do not have any health insurance. So there's 40% is completely uninsured, and StageCare is here to fill that gap. And so I think just because of the impact component, I'm probably most excited about that right now.
Awesome.
And that's not to take away from the other great stuff that we're doing with the other companies, but this has the ability to truly like save a life,
Absolutely.
and in ways that some of the other things that we're doing, just the impact's not the same.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Are you working with local state representatives or anything like that for the healthcare situation for StageCare?
In what way?
Well, so and I only bring this up because we had podcast guest earlier who runs a foundation who works on getting healthcare for New Orleans musicians, and that's all they do, and is get Medicaid and
Dr. Peggy by chance?
Yeah, Dr.
Okay.
Peggy. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we definitely are in touch with, she runs an incredible organization,
Yeah.
New Orleans Musicians Clinic. We launched this company 2 weeks ago.
Got you.
So she was one of my first phone calls.
Got you.
And
okay.
we spoke on a panel
She was
together
here 2
last
hours
week.
ago.
That's great. She's an angel. She's awesome.
Yes, she is.
And the work she's doing is so incredibly important. But yeah, no, we are absolutely in touch, and I'm looking to come on as their official benefits partner so that we can offer StageCare to all the local musicians.
Awesome.
So.
Awesome. Awesome. See, that's what New Orleans is all about, man. We gotta do this. Is that we create a great sense of community.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny is, I just bring this up. When I was in LA, I hated everybody minus the people that were from LA. Like, you're from Long Beach, so
Mhm.
it's different. You're a different type of human being than you normally would meet in LA, because you don't meet people from LA when you're in LA.
Right.
So, but my best friend, who, when I take you on the tour, Robert Anthony Jacobs, but he painted all the stuff on the walls for me, did my logo. He's a streetwear brand guy in LA, but he's born and raised, but I got closer to the people that were actually from LA than anybody else in the world. You guys have a great sense of community as well.
Mhm.
I just don't think it's known because of how many people move out there from other places.
Yeah, it gets a bad rap sometimes.
Yeah.
I think you can find a great community anywhere. So
Yeah.
it definitely exists out there. You got to know the right places to look.
You gotta know, yes,
But,
100%. You can't look in the normal places. You gotta, you'll find them around as it goes. But it was pretty awesome, actually, because he was one of the first people I met when I moved out there, and just to meet somebody from LA, to be able to kind of like capture the culture from an original
Mhm.
and not like be fake with it, I feel
Right.
like also helped a lot.
There's, I guess, less of an agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. So StageCare, where would you see, if there's any problem that you would like Imprinted to address next,
Mhm.
what would that be?
One of the problems that we're working on right now, with everything that we do extensive research before launching a company, right? And a space that I'm keen to learn a lot more about, in terms of coming up with a strategy for how we can provide a solution, is removing some of the gatekeeping between the independent artist and the really experienced representative and manager. I think right now we're in a time where it's like we're living in a creator economy and everyone has a lot of access, which has absolutely leveled the playing field. But there's still a little bit of a disconnect between, an incredibly experienced manager that's signing acts at a certain level, and the artist that's out there that's making, reasonable, they've created a reasonable business, it's sustainable, but they may be self-managed, which you're seeing more and more often, right? I'd like to figure out how to close that gap, and we're evaluating a few ways to do that. But that's a problem that we're
Because
currently
most
in
people don't
house.
realize there's more small venues in America than large venues.
Mhm.
So if you can find a way to capture, and honestly, I've worked with a company. I don't know if you've ever heard of a company called AirTab.
I'm not familiar.
Um, and I I hate to say this on camera. Part of me thinks they might just be a damn pyramid scheme at this point. But the whole premise of AirTab from the beginning was a peer to peer selling point where, like, if I'm in, and you just assume the restaurant and the client are signed up to AirTab for this purpose of the conversation. If I have a client that's going to a restaurant in New York and I'm in New Orleans and I want to send them a bottle of wine to the table, I can all do it through AirTab.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah.
And so it kind of started in that sense, and then it became this situation where, like, well, if we have all the bars and restaurants signed up to AirTab, we could be creating entertainment for them by having artists sign up to AirTab, and then the bars can scan through they would like to hire the bands through AirTab. The AirTab fans can all be tied into where the bar and the artist get the fan base, as well as learning what drinks they drink at your restaurant, and or during that show or whatever it may be, selling drink tickets. And it became like it's a whole, like, promotional agent management system. The artists can even sell their merchandise directly through it. And so, like, the thought was combining all of that, and using a lot of the small rooms in America that just, it's hard to book a lot of these bar owners don't know how to book an act,
Right.
or they don't know what act to book. So they just, somebody walks in with a guitar and they book them, you know what I mean? Like it. And so if you had more of a system for that, I think it would change the dynamics of it. So it was kind of in that same space.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, bookings, to your point, like there's so many small places out there that don't do hard tickets. You go walk down Bourbon Street, right? You have 50 of them.
Right.
All those have to get programmed.
Right.
And there's a crowd in there every night.
Right.
So I think there's certainly gaps there. The way we're approaching it is kind of through the lens of a manager. And so are you familiar with it's a website called intro.co? Reddit founder, I can't think of his name right now, Alexis Ohanian. He created it, or he's one of the co-founders of it. But you can essentially get access to people like him, and you pay them for their time. And it's like there's no strings attached. If I want to pay the $400 for the 15-minute conversation that I get, then he's going to show up on the other end. I made that number up. I don't know what it costs, but he's going to show up on the other end, and we're going to have an engaged conversation.
Wow.
And so we're taking it a little bit of a similar approach as it relates to kind of helping some of these underserved artists that I mentioned, by creating a platform that gives them the access to kind of reach some of these high-level managers in that similar, kind of a way.
Okay, I got you. So pay to play type of situation a little bit, but at least having the ability to make that phone call.
Yeah, for sure. Because like a lot of these folks, you would otherwise not have the opportunity to speak with this person.
Right.
They're not going to sign you, but you might not need them to sign you. You might just have a few questions and want to get some validation or some clarity. And we think that this tool could help some folks like that.
Yeah, I mean, and one thing that I argue about all the time is the number one thing we don't have down here is access. And we don't have a label building, we don't have a marketing building, we don't have the publishing building, we don't have the record label to walk into. We just don't have that type of access to the exposure to national play. We don't even have our own Grammy chapter.
Right. Yeah,
we're in the Memphis
chapter.
I know, which blows my mind. I'm on Reed Wick all the time. I don't know if you know Reed.
Of course.
Yeah. I'm on him all the time. I don't know. He probably has no say in it, but I'm still on his ass about it.
He's the guy to talk to.
He's the only guy to talk to around here about it, right? But I mean, I know Harvey. Like I used to run music production camps for Grammy Camp at USC.
Okay, cool.
And so I know them all, but at the same time, it's like, how did Memphis become more important than New Orleans? And I can't get an answer from it. And no disrespect to Memphis, but if we should be separate. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I think like historically you have things like the Sun Records in Memphis as an example. Like, so you have these established, entities that we just don't really have here.
Right.
And
But it takes foundations and things like that to take it seriously to maybe get some of that down here.
yeah,
So, like, if the
100%.
Grammy Association said, "Hey, look, New Orleans is now its own chapter. Let's bring some support down here that we wouldn't normally have because now it's its own thing."
Mhm.
Then maybe starts a wave of the state going, "Okay, the Grammy Association just named us its own chapter. Maybe we should support it."
Mhm.
And then you just trickle down the line, and you never in the end of the day, you might create that
Yeah,
foundation, but it's got to start somewhere, and
completely
it's got to
agree.
start with a bigger foundation, if you ask me, like a Grammy Association.
Mhm.
For someone to take it seriously. Anyway,
Yeah, no, 100%. And if not a member org like that, maybe a major company,
right,
right? Someone that decides to open a satellite office here.
right. A
Um,
Capital, a Sony, or something.
exactly.
Something like Atlantic South.
And you'll have like little independents, but it doesn't move the needle in the same
No,
type of way.
not at all.
I will mention there are some people doing some pretty big stuff in town and that are making some waves in that type of a leadership position, I would say, in terms of building a foundation here. PSBM, are you familiar with
Mm-mm.
them? So they're arguably one of the largest, business management firms in entertainment, and their partner moved down here, opened up an office, hired a staff, and so now they're handling the accounts in New Orleans for some of the biggest, talent in the world.
Gotcha.
So, they're one of the few that I think are at that level that have kind of made the investment that I think it takes to really, lift us up here. But yeah, I think it takes more of that, to really see the needle move.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, do you see Imprinted moving into partnerships with bigger companies, or how do you see the future of Imprinted as far as a national brand?
hmm Yeah. So as a brand, our focus is lifting up the portfolio companies, in a meaningful way. Um, so it's less important for us to go really market Imprinted, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Um, that said, and answer your question, we are exploring and actually entering into partnerships with some very major, music industry companies that are not based here. And that's to launch portfolio companies. That's to bring them on as partners for those portfolio companies. So they're co-founders, they're partners, strategic partners.
Right.
But yeah, we're currently having all those conversations.
Awesome. Awesome. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like it's the only way to give back to the city is to bring something from outside the city to the city.
hmm
If you have that national reach and you're bringing that to the city, I mean, it's immeasurable in the amount of help it's going to be to the industry as a whole.
I mean, we could do what we do anywhere, and we choose to be here.
Right.
So, we're playing a very, very small role as it relates to trying to lift up the community, but it's a cause we believe in, and we're here.
Awesome. If you were to pick a band that was your favorite, what would it be?
Ooh, like out of the city?
Yeah, let's do that one first.
Um, Not exactly a band, but I got to give love to Big Frida, who's a
Okay.
business partner
All
of
right.
mine and is
There
a
you
partner in
go.
Imprinted. And
Awesome.
we've done a lot of work together over the past decade. And yeah, I got to say, Frida's at the top.
Awesome. Yeah, she's been over here. She's awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's awesome.
I know my wife doesn't see this. My wife's also a performer in town. Had to give the love to Frida.
There you go. I don't. She might not be mad at you for that one. What's your wife's band? Or
She goes by Boyfriend.
okay,
Mhm.
I feel like I've heard that.
Yeah, it's possible. She plays, at Jazz Fest every year.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
this
yeah.
week on Crew of Ferret, there's a 28-foot or something like that prop in her likeness that rolls down St. Charles. So she's got a huge float.
Hey.
But yeah, no, she's a local New Orleans-based musician and songwriter.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So it's family oriented what you're doing then.
Yeah, it's very much family business.
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
very much family business.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, good, man. Well, I appreciate you coming through today and talking and ironing out some of the stuff. I think it's just important that we support local businesses, support local ideas, and move forward in this industry because we've kind of been forgotten about on the tech side as a whole. I think since Katrina,
hmm
and especially in the entertainment side, the film industry helped, but that's now longer. I don't know how you feel about all of that, what's going on, but I mean, it's probably never coming back the way it was.
Everything's a mess right now, man.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, we went from doing 50 movies a year to we're going to be doing 5 movies a year now. But and I don't think because it's too much competition. There's too many states that do everything now, and
Well, and even on the macro level, right? Like Hollywood's not the same.
no, it's
Less
no.
movies are getting made.
Yeah,
you know?
100%. Well, and AI is going to make production cheaper.
Mhm.
It's the game is different now, but music is still music.
Mhm.
I don't care how many AI things get involved. You're still going to need to see live bands. You're still going to need to see live events. Like we need to adapt and change a little bit in this industry to make it last forever. We can't be the pirate city forever. We gotta actually act at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
You know.
Let me ask you this: who's your favorite band out of the city?
Ooh, so that's a good question. I like a jazz singer in town called Sarah Quintana.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of Sarah. She's also a vocal coach for kids at Ochsner trying to learn how to talk after surgeries. Um, but I went to grade school with Sarah, and she's just got an amazing voice, and she sings Preservation Hall every now and then, and just straight, real, local jazz talent.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll check her out.
Yeah, please do. Please do. But any socials for Imprinted you want to share, or any maybe companies that are coming out you want to share those socials?
Yeah, check out StageCare on Instagram. It's just, StageCare. And then Imprinted Group is the handle for Imprinted. And then where we're most active is actually on LinkedIn.
Okay.
That's kind of our
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot of B2B.
We're known by the known, right? Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. All right, well, great. Well, listen, thank you for joining us today. And
Anytime.
I
Thanks for
appreciate
having
the
me.
conversation, and I really enjoy what you guys are doing, and wish you all the best of luck.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much, and likewise.
Absolutely. Well, and thank you guys for joining us today on the Elation podcast. And if you'd like to see more, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.